Shalom, shalom. The scriptures often teach us that we are to wait upon YaHuWaH. That is the name of the creator of the universe, the name of our Abba, our Father, who is in the heavens, who spoke all that is, was, and ever shall be into existence using the power of his eternal word. And we know that he spoke Lashon Kodesh, that is the set-apart language, the set-apart tongue, which is also called Lashon Esh, the language or tongue of fire. Today this is called the Hebrew language because it was maintained by the Hebrews. When YaHuWaH, the creator of all that is, was, and ever shall be, spoke to Moses and the great prophets, he spoke in the Hebrew language. So we should go to the original scriptures in the Hebrew language to understand what YaHuWaH is trying to communicate with his people. And when we look at the Hebrew, we see that to wait upon YaHuWaH is much more profound than what we read in the English. The Hebrew reveals levels and layers of understanding that we are simply missing when we read in translation. In English, the idea of waiting is simply passively allowing the time to count down until a certain event takes place. However, the Hebrew word qawah means so much more than that. The Hebrew word qawah means to focus on, to expect, to place our expectation in. And it literally means to bind the threads of a rope, implying that when we wait upon YaHuWaH, when we put our expectation in him, when we put our focus on him, that we are building a strong connection to the creator of all. And not only are we building a strong connection, but we are to tie the literal threads of our heart and bind them to the creator. The scriptures tell us that when we seek him with all of our heart, soul, and mind, we shall find him in that day. That is a promise. If we put our expectation in that promise and we literally give him our heart, our soul, and all that we are, and we use all of that to seek him, in so doing, we are waiting upon him and we are binding the threads of our heart to the creator of the universe, which is so profound. The scriptures tell us we are to bind the commandments to our right hand and to our forehead. It is to be a sign. But this Hebrew word qawah implies that we are to actually bind ourselves to the creator, which is even more important because the scriptures tell us that we must have emunah, or belief, perseverance, endurance to please YaHuWaH. We must seek him. We are designed to seek the face of the creator with all of our heart, mind, and being. That is our purpose, and to live according to his commands. This is the purpose of man. So, in so doing, in waiting upon YaHuWaH, we are not being passive. We are taking action. We don't simply say a prayer and just wait by for YaHuWaH to act. Yes, that is a part of it. But while we are waiting, we are focused upon him, never losing our focus. And not only are we focused upon him, but we have our expectation in him, never ceasing to have expectation in his words and in his promises. And in so doing, we are creating our connection to the creator with our heart, with our innermost being. In the scriptures we read in Bereshith, or Genesis, chapter 49, the patriarch Yaakov, who is called Jacob, who was renamed Yisrael, or Israel, makes a profound declaration. He states, LeYeshua teka, kawiti YaHuWaH. The Hebrew word LeYeshua teka is a combination of words. It actually means unto your Yeshua, your salvation. That word Yeshua is profound in the Hebrew scriptures. It appears 78 times, always connected to the idea of the salvation of YaHuWaH, the great and awesome mighty one of Yisrael. This word appears in poems and psalms throughout the scriptures. And here in this verse, it is saying unto your Yeshua, unto your salvation, your deliverance. Kawiti, which is a form of the word qawah, which means I have waited, right? But not that I have waited only, but I have focused. I have put my expectation in your salvation. I have bound myself like the threads in a rope to your salvation. LeYeshua teka, kawiti YaHuWaH. I have waited. I have sought. I have focused upon. I have bound myself to your Yeshua, oh YaHuWaH. That is what the verse is saying. And when we look at the verse, we see that there is a picture of the Messiah's name. The Messiah of Israel's name is Yahushua. It means YaHuWaH saves. It comes from the two words YaHuWaH and Yeshua. And again, we see this word in this particular verse. But we also see this word in other verses, such as when Moses and the Israelites are about to cross the Red Sea and Pharaoh's army is approaching. Moses makes the declaration, stand still and see Yeshuat YaHuWaH, which means the salvation of YaHuWaH. And after he crosses the sea, he begins to sing the song of the sea. And in this song, he states, Yah, which is the short form of YaHuWaH, YaHuWaH has become mine, li le Yeshua, mine unto salvation. So this song of Moses, the song of the sea, is also pointing to the idea of the salvation, the Yeshua of YaHuWaH. And again, the Messiah's name is Yahushua, meaning the salvation of YaHuWaH. So this is very profound because the very idea of waiting on YaHuWaH in the scriptures, in the very first book of scripture, is tied into the idea of the salvation of YaHuWaH. To wait upon YaHuWaH is to also be saved by YaHuWaH, because those who wait upon YaHuWaH truly please him, because they are focused on him, they have expectation in him, and because they have bound themselves to him. And that is the beauty of the Hebrew scriptures. Now, if we go over to Tehillim, Psalm chapter 27, this is a famous song that begins, YaHuWaH Ori, YaHuWaH is my light and my salvation. This is very powerful. When we go to the end of this chapter, which you should read the entire section, we read, wait on YaHuWaH, be strong, and let him strengthen your heart. Wait, I say, on YaHuWaH. The Hebrew says, Kawa el YaHuWaH, hazak wayamatz lebeka. Now, Kawa means, again, to wait, but not just to wait, to put our expectation in, to focus upon, and to bind ourselves unto YaHuWaH. Kawa el YaHuWaH, to bind yourself to YaHuWaH, to focus on YaHuWaH. Hazak, and be strong. Wayamatz, and he will strengthen lebeka, your heart. Now that word yamatz can also mean encourage and make courageous your heart. And it's very profound because this actual statement, hazak wayamatz, appears in the scriptures many times. We see the form hazak wa'amatz in the book of Joshua over and over, which means be strong and courageous. Be strong and courageous. Hazak wa'amatz. But when it says hazak wayamatz, that means be strong and he will strengthen you. He will strengthen your heart. He will give your heart the courage that it needs. He will encourage you. So waiting upon YaHuWaH brings about the promise that YaHuWaH will give you strength and that he will strengthen your heart. And the next part of the verse says, Kawa el YaHuWaH, which means, and wait upon YaHuWaH. It doesn't actually say, wait upon YaHuWaH. It says simply, and wait upon YaHuWaH, which emphasizes the idea of the expectation we have in YaHuWaH when we focus upon him, when we have our expectation in his promises, in his salvation, in his deliverance, and when we bind ourselves, the very strings of our heart, to the Creator himself. And this is the beauty, that he will give you strength, that he will strengthen your heart, that he will give you the power to endure the darkness that is all around. We are entering into days of great darkness. We are already in days of great tribulation and distress, days of evil, of bloodshed and violence. The hearts of men have grown cold. According to the scriptures, this was prophesied, and this is now all around us. So therefore, to navigate these days, we must understand the words of YaHuWaH in the scriptures, the commands, and he has instructed us that we are to put our expectation upon him. Just as another psalm says, Harpu udeu, ki anoki Elohim. Be still and know that I am Elohim. When we are in that place of waiting and we are focused upon YaHuWaH, we are being still and we know that he is Elohim and that he provides, that he strengthens us, that he gives us the ability to endure and to carry on in this life. And that is the profound revelation Hazak wayamatz. Be strong and he will strengthen. Be strong and he will encourage you. Now, let's go over to Psalm 37. In Psalm 37, we're going to read the contrast between those who seek YaHuWaH and those who simply do not seek YaHuWaH but are evil and walk in the ways of evil. In Psalm chapter 37, Tehillim 37, we begin in verse 7. Rest in YaHuWaH and wait patiently for him. Do not fret because of him who prospers in his way, because of the man doing wicked devices, which we see in the world today. Abstain from displeasure and forsake wrath. Do not fret also to do evil, for evildoers are cut off. But those who wait on YaHuWaH, they shall inherit the earth. Now remember Yahushua the Messiah, the anointed one of Israel, who will be king over the whole world, made the statement that the meek shall inherit the earth. This verse gives you the definition of what it means to be meek, and that is to wait on YaHuWaH. That means to put your expectation on YaHuWaH. That means to put your focus on YaHuWaH. That means to bind yourself through prayer, through supplication, through praise, and through worship unto YaHuWaH, the creator of all that is, was, and ever shall be. Now, it tells us they will be cut off. The evildoers will be cut off. But those who wait on YaHuWaH, they shall inherit the earth. Of course, we know that there's a day coming where the resurrection shall take place, and all the servants of YaHuWaH shall be resurrected to life, and they will inherit the earth. But those who had done wrong in the earth, they will be resurrected for eternal punishment. And this is recorded in the scriptures. Now, in the same psalm, the same Tehillim, if we go to verse 34, it reads, wait on YaHuWaH and guard his way, and he shall exalt you to inherit the earth. When the wrongdoers are cut off, you shall see it. When the wrongdoers are cut off from the earth, the righteous will see it. Those who waited on YaHuWaH with expectation, those who had bound themselves to YaHuWaH and his great and awesome name, they will see the wicked cut off from the earth. It is coming. The day is approaching. The great and terrible day of darkness, the great and terrible day of YaHuWaH is approaching, and the day of judgment is coming quickly. Now, let's go over to the prophet Zephaniah, or Zephaniah, chapter 3, and we're going to read in verse 8. This is what it says. Therefore, wait for me, declares YaHuWaH, until the day I rise up for plunder. For my judgment is to gather nations, to assemble reigns, to pour out on them my rage, all my burning wrath. For by the fire of my jealousy all the earth shall be consumed. Therefore wait for me, says YaHuWaH. Therefore bind yourself to me, says YaHuWaH. Therefore put your expectation on me, says YaHuWaH. Put your focus on me. Do not look to the right or to the left. Focus on YaHuWaH, because he is going to gather all nations. And those who wait on YaHuWaH will be protected, and they will endure, and they will be the treasured possession of YaHuWaH in the coming kingdom. Now, if we continue to read, there's a profound verse in the very next verse, verse 9, concerning the great and awesome name of YaHuWaH. It says, for then I shall turn unto the people a clean lip, so that they all call on the name of YaHuWaH to serve him with one shoulder. This shows you that the will of YaHuWaH, YaHuWaH, the great and awesome, is that we all call on his name, and that we do so with one shoulder. And who is going to be those who is going to receive the pure lip? Who is going to call on YaHuWaH with one shoulder with his people? Those who have waited on YaHuWaH, those who put their expectation in YaHuWaH, their focus was on him, and they bound themselves in prayer and fasting and supplication and worship to him forever. And because they did this, they were spared in the day of the great wrath of YaHuWaH, which is to come. And that is the beauty of waiting upon YaHuWaH, because when we wait upon YaHuWaH, we are not simply doing nothing. We are doing the most important service we could do. That is why the verse when we read it in English, it just simply doesn't give justice to what is being communicated in the text. When we wait on YaHuWaH, when we are still and we know him, this seems like doing nothing. The world says, run here, run there, do this, do that, react to this, react to that. The scriptures say, no, be still and know that I am YaHuWaH, that I am Elohim, says YaHuWaH. And also, wait on me, says YaHuWaH, which again, is not just passive. It is that we are making him our primary focus. Now, if we go over to Yeshayahu, Isaiah, and we read in chapter 40, beginning in verse 29, it reads, he gives power to the faint, and to those who have no might he increases strength. Even youths shall faint and be weary, and young men shall stumble and fall. But those who wait on YaHuWaH, listen again, but those who wait on YaHuWaH renew their strength. They raise up the wings like eagles. They run and are not weary. They walk and they do not faint. That is the power of the scriptures. That is the power of what YaHuWaH is telling us in his word. And if we go back to verse 28, it says, do you not know? Have you not heard? The everlasting Elohim, YaHuWaH, the creator of the ends of the earth, neither faints nor is weary. His understanding is unsearchable. He gives power to the faint, and to those who have no might, he increases strength. Even youth shall faint, and the weary, and be weary, and young men stumble and fall. But those who wait on YaHuWaH will renew their strength. They raise up the wings like eagles. They run and are not weary. They walk and they do not faint. And this is applying to the time that we live in, the time of great tribulation, which is all around us. We must take the scriptures very seriously as we see all the prophecies being fulfilled, more and more daily being fulfilled. And we see the agenda of the New World Order rising. And many people are intimidated because the darkness is becoming so dark. And the day of darkness is approaching. And because of all the evil and all the bloodshed and all the satanic things that we see manifesting in our world today, it is very easy to lose focus. And remember what happened to Kawa, who is called Peter, when he was walking on the water with Yeshua. As soon as he lost focus, he began to sink. And the same will be for you and I. The moment we lose focus, not the hour, not the day, the moment, the very moment that we lose focus, we will begin to sink. And the only thing we can do when we begin to sink is to call out to the Master that he will forgive us and pull us up out of the water. In the scriptures, we read about a day that is coming when YaHuWaH will redeem his people. And they will say, this is YaHuWaH. We have waited for him. While YaHuWaH says, this is my people. How powerful is that? We want to be a part of YaHuWaH's people. We want to be numbered by YaHuWaH amongst his people in the great resurrection. We want to take part in all the great promises of the kingdom that is coming. And to do so, we must wait on YaHuWaH. People will tell you, you must do this, you must do that. And we must do certain things. And some people will tell you it's all by physical strength. And there is a time where physical strength is important. But it is more important to put your focus, expectation, and bind yourself through waiting upon YaHuWaH, as the scriptures have revealed. Because those who wait on YaHuWaH will inherit the earth. But the wrongdoers, the wicked, those who did not acknowledge YaHuWaH, those who did not keep his commandments, they will be cut off from the earth. You may think you're a good person, but unless you have repented and put your trust in YaHuWaH, through Yeshua, the Anointed One, who died and resurrected and lives forever, the one that Daniel described as coming in the clouds of the Shemayim of the heavens, then you're only fooling yourself. And I invite you to repent this day, seek the Creator, and be still and know him. And that you will wait upon him in the way that has been described here today. Because the only true way to wait upon YaHuWaH is to put your focus, to put your expectation and bind yourself to him. And if you're simply waiting around, passively doing nothing, then you are not fulfilling what the scriptures is declaring today. Brothers and sisters, I invite you to call on the great name of YaHuWaH, He who lives forever. He is our Abba, our Father. He is there waiting to forgive us, waiting to redeem us. But we have to take part in this. We have to make the steps. We have to reach out to YaHuWaH so that He will reach out to us. It's all about what we will put in. The gift of salvation is free, but there are requirements. And I just want to invite you to wait upon YaHuWaH, to actually get into that secret place where no one is, where no one knows the prayers of your heart, and pour out your heart to Him. Tear your heart and not your garments, and seek the Creator with all that you have, with all of your heart, with all of your soul, and with all of your being. And in that day, you will find Him. How awesome is that? That YaHuWaH has provided a method of salvation, and through waiting on Him, we actually are creating a mighty rope, a connection to the Creator that can never be severed. YaHuWaH be with you. May He make His face to shine upon you and be compassionate to you. And may you find Him as you seek for Him with all of your heart, soul, and mind. May He give you His Spirit. The word spirit in Hebrew is ruach. It is His wind. It is His breath. It doesn't get more intimate that YaHuWaH will share His breath with you, that He will breathe into you. And this is His will for you, that He will give you His Ruach HaKodesh, His comforter, to lead you through the troubles and through the various tribulations of this life. And if you will just trust in Him, trust in YaHuWaH, the Rock of Ages, He will deliver you and your family and all who hear you. YaHuWaH be with you. Shalom, shalom. I would like to encourage all of you to go to messengerofthename.com and pre-order my brand new book, The Creator's Name Revealed, Unlocking the Mystery of the Tetragrammaton. When you pre-order, you are helping this project to move forward. We will have these printed as soon as possible and distributed worldwide. Shalom, shalom.